Hi everyone, it's your girl Regina, the Side Hustle Queen, coming to you with another cruise tip video. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about 5 reasons why you should have a passport when you're cruising. But before you guys jump all down my throat and say, hey Regina, you told me that all I needed was my state issue ID and my original birth certificate. Yes, you can get on a cruise with your original birth certificate and your state issue ID. I've been cruising for years on just my ID and my birth certificate. I recently applied for my passport. I'm not even sure it's going to be here in time for my September 18th cruise, but it was one of my 2020 goals before COVID hit. That year, last year, I was supposed to get my passport, and I didn't because of COVID, but I did recently apply for it because that was just one of my goals for the year, just so that I can have it when I cruise. So in today's video, I will be talking to you about 5 reasons why you would need a passport when you're on a cruise. If this is your first time joining me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, make sure you give me the thumbs up and hit that bell for notifications so that you'll know when I post new videos. I shoot DIY project videos as well as cruise tip videos every single week. So make sure you subscribe to my channel right now. Hit that subscribe button. Don't wait. Do it right now. I'm gonna give you a second. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. So we're going to start off with number 5. Number 5, if you are not a born U.S. citizen, or I guess if you haven't became a U.S. citizen, you cannot get on the ship without a passport. You have to be a United States citizen to get on the boat with your ID and your birth certificate. So if you is not a U.S. citizen, you have to have your passport in order to get on the ship. So keep that in mind. If you're not a U.S. citizen, make sure you get your passport. Okay, if a ship is embarking in one port and disembarking in another port, you're going to need a passport. Meaning, if the boat pick you up in Miami, but you disembark way in France, Alaska somewhere, you're gonna need your passport. A lot of people don't know this. Ships move around from port to ports. And what cruises will do is they'll have certain cruises, say just for example, the Carnival Magic in Miami, and they want to send it over to California. So what they're going to do is they're not going to just let the boat just sail from Florida over to California with nobody on it. No, they're not going to do that. They're losing out on money. So what they're going to do is they're going to have a regular cruise. They're going to have normal stops, but the ship is going to dock in California, and that's where everybody's going to have to disembark. So you're going to have to need your passport if the cruise ship is leaving from one port and disembarking in another port. So make sure when you book your cruise, if you do not have a passport, if you're cruising with your birth certificate and your ID, make sure if it's leaving from Miami Port, it's coming back to Miami Port. If it's leaving from Galveston, Texas Port, it's coming back to that port. So if the ship leaving and coming back to the same port, you only need your ID and your birth certificate. But if it's embarking in one port and disembarking way in another port, make sure you have your passport. Another reason why you're going to need your passport is if you need medical attention. If you fall ill, sick, God forbid, a heart attack, you need major medical attention, that boat not going to turn around and bring you back to the U.S. Wherever the closest port that boat is near, that's where that boat is going to go. That's where you're going to offer you medical attention. If they got to send an airplane out to the ship, that whatever close port is, that's where you're gonna go. And if you have to get medical attention and they got to keep you overnight or anything like that, that boat not gonna stay and wait on you. That boat gonna continue to sail. So I had a friend, her name is shout out to Tara. She have her own traveling business. I will leave, she's a travel agent. I will leave a link to her Facebook page in the description bar. She was on a cruise in Jamaica, and they took 4-wheelers ATV. She happened to fell off hers, and she bust her head and had to go to the hospital. She ended up having to get stitches and all this other type stuff. And the ship, actually, it just left her. She got left. So thank God she had a passport. Once she got out the hospital, she was able to book her flight back to the U.S. So just make sure that, you know, if you feeling sick, I always bring like cough medicine, Tylenol with me, things like that, like over-the-counter medicine with me on my cruise in case I start feeling a little ill. I have medicine with me, so you are allowed to bring, you know, some over-the-counter medicine with you when you're cruising. But if you have to get major medical attention, whatever country, whatever island that you're near, that's where they're going to take you, because you have to have medical, your life is in danger, so you're going to need medical attention. Okay. Some ports do not allow you to get off the boat if you don't have a passport. Not a lot of them, it's just a few. I know Martinique is a little island in the Caribbean. You cannot get off at that port unless you have a passport. I know a couple of years back I was looking at when Cuba was allowing cruise ships to come over to their country. I was looking at an MSC cruise that I was going to take to Cuba, but I later found out if I didn't have a passport, I could not do none of the tours. I could not get off the ship. I mean, now I'm not trying to go to Cuba at all, but back then I did want to go over there just to see what it was about. MSC had a nice, I think it was like only $1,100 for 2 people. They had a nice little 5-day cruise, and one of the stops was Cuba, and I was going to try out their cruise line, but unfortunately, before I actually got the book, Cuba shut everything down and they stopped allowing cruise ships to dock. So I ended up switching. I think I ended up switching over to the Magic that particular year. But it's a few ports. But if you dock, it doesn't matter if you on there with your birth certificate and ID, you cannot get off in port without the passport. And most of the Caribbean islands, you can get off the boat if you don't have a passport, but I do know Martinique is one of them that you cannot get off at their port unless you have a passport. And I done been on a lot of cruises, and none of the cruises that I've been on even went there, but I do know for a fact Royal Caribbean and Carnival do go to that island, so keep that in mind. And number 1, the most important one is if for some reason you get your behind left at the darn port. Numerous of reasons. Number 1, you did not pay attention to what time you're supposed to be back on that boat. On all cruises, when you getting off at port, it's a big old signs right there telling you what time you need to be back to that ship. Make sure you get back to that ship at least an hour before that ship's supposed to leave. Don't get drunk in these islands and forget where you at, and the next thing you know, you hear a horn because the boat is leaving you. The boat will leave you. So keep in mind that if you get left at port, you're going to need your passport to book you a flight to get back. If you don't have your passport, I guess the U.S. embassy in these countries most likely will help you, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be easy peasy. It's not going to be a easy walk through the park to prove that you're a U.S. citizen. I don't know, but I know if you have your passport, it's easy to just book your flight and either meet the boat at the next stop or just fly back home and wait for the boat to come back and get your stuff that you left on the ship. I hope that these 5 tips on why you should have a passport when you're cruising is helpful. Again, I recently applied for my passport. You don't need it to get on the ship, but if any of these things occur, you will need your passport. So keep that in mind, that in the near future, if cruising is going to be your way to vacation like it is mine, make sure you get your passport. Thank you guys for watching another one of my videos, and as always, believe in yourself even when nobody else do. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next video.